And we are live. So, welcome to the 2024 Royal Rumble recap. I am the American Werewolf, and with me today, fellow professional wrestling fan Eric from Hey Internet. Eric here. Thank you for joining me.
Of course.
Yeah, man. One of the better things I think this channel has done in the past 6 months is acknowledge my love for professional wrestling and adding it into the repertoire of the channel.
It's been. I've told you many times. I'm glad we're incorporating it too. It's two things. It's a thing that we both love, and B, it does kind of break up, the movie talk as well. So sometimes it's a little breath of fresh air. So I love it.
Yeah, and we've got these now monthly, or every so often, pay-per-views that are coming, and some are more noteworthy than others. I don't think we did one for Survivor Series, but I guess it's been within the past year that I've started to renew my interest in what's going on in WWE. At least, you also turning me on to IWTV. Which has a shitload of indie promotions going on. So wrestling has really never been bigger than it is right now.
Right.
But last night we had on Peacock the 2024 Royal Rumble. I watched it. You watched it. Let me ask you off the top. What did you think of just generally, what did you think of the pay-per-view? Because it is one of the bigger ones that the WWE puts on every year.
It's always one of my favorites. I would say, comparing it to ones past, it's maybe kind of mediocre. Because in my opinion, I think the main reasons to watch this year was the two Rumble matches itself. I didn't give a shit about the two singles matches. But when we get into it, I was happy that there wasn't a lot of, or if any, I guess you would say, old school wrestlers showing up in the Rumble itself. I'm glad it kind of focused on the current product. You know what I mean? Whether it's NXT or the current roster, or even people not on the WWE roster, which was really cool. But the event itself was decent. But I think the two title matches, you could have gone to the bathroom or got a beer, or made a pizza or something during them.
Yeah. Overall, the Royal Rumble essentially this year consisted of 4 matches.
Right.
You had the Women's Royal Rumble match, then you had the Fatal 4-Way, you had Owens versus Paul, and then you had the Men's Royal Rumble. So it really wasn't that much of a card, and the majority of the product seemed to lean on the two, Royal Rumbles, as the bookends, and then you had these things in the middle. It had this thing, and I saw the same thing. This is the second time I've seen it. It was the same thing with Survivor Series, in that the very first match, in my opinion, was the best match.
Yes, I agree.
And that comes from the ladies.
Yep.
It was the same thing last year when I watched, well, I don't know if you agreed with me on this one. I can't remember. When we watched WrestleMania. And the best match was the Charlotte Flair-Rhea Ripley match. Which was sort of towards the middle of the card, and I think it was the first night, maybe even.
And it was the last pay-per-view. I don't know if we discussed it. No, we did. We discussed it with Jay. It was like the War Games pay-per-view. The best match was the women's cage match.
Yeah.
And that was the very first match as well.
So, that's kind of a double-edged sword, because you're starting off your pay-per-view with a big fire match. And then on the other end, you've got, because this went almost 4 hours.
Right.
This one, you had, say 45 minutes in the first match, and then you had another 3 hours that, didn't quite hold up. I'm not knocking it. It's just that, the best match was the very first match. And even with that match, it really didn't kind of start to heat up until you got to about the final dozen or so wrestlers.
Yeah, I don't get what it was. it seemed like I was pissing off a lot of people on Twitter when I literally just posted during the women's Rumble match that the crowd was fucking dead. And so I don't know if it was just the acoustics of the building, if how it came off on TV, but that was another factor that sucked because as a viewer, and if you're not there personally, if the crowd's dead, that, at least for me personally, that kind of takes my interest out of it as well. And people were finally saying, yeah, apparently it was really dead for them too. And they say that might just be a Florida thing when it comes to wrestling.
Here's something else that I heard also. It was that a lot of fans were confused because the WWE has sort of, and on the list of things that need to be worked on, I mean, it's like working out the bugs in a new computer system when you launch it, it's like 1 million, number thing, check, we'll get to that. It's that a lot of these wrestlers have really awful and generic intro music that you don't recognize. So the music hits and like nobody knows who the hell it is because it's sort of like music, that term. It's like
elevator music.
Yeah, and you're like, who is this? I don't know who it is. And so when that happens 30 times, it's difficult to get the momentum going. If you remember, and I don't want to constantly want to be one of those people to saying here's to yesterday.
Yeah, back in my day.
Yeah. But in the Attitude Era, in the WCW era, during the Monday Night War era, when someone's music hit, you knew exactly who that was. But with these young stars, the young superstars, this new generation, they're hitting this music, and who the hell is it? So, it's hard to get amped up, and then the person runs out, and then they only have 90 seconds to, establish themselves before the, and you figure it takes them 15, 20 seconds, 30 seconds to get out there, and then they have 60 seconds to do something, and then it hits again. So, I doubt Triple H is, watching this right now, but if for some reason, this particular thing gets to Triple H, or the people over at TKO, because I'm going to buy some stock. I'm dead serious. I'm going to buy some TKO stock. You got to work on that music. You got to work on that music, man, because, I mean, let me just say this real quick. Sure. You're not a UFC viewer, are you ever?
No.
Okay. Well, UFC, each individual fighter has their own music. And I mean, it's like something off a Spotify list. Like it's like it's a real song. So the minute that thing hits, you know exactly who it is that's coming out to fight. And so they either need to start licensing, through Spotify now, because TKO owns UFC 2 also, and they need to start like generating some real music because this, this is it's a bit of a drawback.
There wasn't any standout music, like even the people that I've been watching for the last 5 years, the only music I could recognize was maybe like Becky Lynch. You know what I mean? Because I'd heard
with the girls,
with the girls. But also the problem was for me, it was the entrance they had to walk down to get to the ring with that weird shaped barricade. They had to.
Yeah, it's like a dog leg. It's like a dog leg. Yeah.
Yeah. It took them a while to get to the ring, so they have to make their entrance. They have to do a flashy pose if they need to let people know who they are.
And ladies. Then you got to do.
And by the time they got in the ring, the clock was already counting down.
Right. Yeah.
And I get that they had to pull from the NXT roster because, that's their, minor league, I guess you would say. Want to give them a time to shine. But the problem is, for me, I don't watch NXT, so I don't know who a lot of these people are unless I've seen a 30-second clip on Twitter, or they used to be on Raw and then moved back down to, NXT and they're coming back type of thing, like Mia Yim. You know what I mean? I like her a lot. She went down to NXT after a while, and then now she's back type of thing. So I was excited to see her. But it's just I was sitting there like, okay, who is this chick? Who is this chick? And same with the guys too. I didn't know who. Probably 3/4 of them were. And like you said with the music, it's definitely a different era because when that glass hit, you knew it was Stone Cold. When you had, the Undertaker's gone. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. Or Lemmy from Motorhead.
Triple H. Yeah, it was Triple H.
even in the 90s when you had that long guitar, riff, you knew it was Bret Hart getting ready to come out,
Right.
type of thing. You know what I mean? And
Ric Flair, 2001: A Space Odyssey.
Yeah, I think the biggest problem was getting rid of Jim Johnson, who made all those fantastic, like from the freaking 80s themes, and now it's just cookie cutter.
Yeah, it's music. It's music. And it's not good. But I got to disagree with you a little bit because I'm going to start watching NXT. I just found out that NXT plays every Tuesday on Peacock.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's every Tuesday on Peacock. So, like, I was so impressed with these ladies from NXT that I was like, wait a minute, I got to start watching NXT because this just looks like a lot of fun. So this Tuesday, I don't know if you're going to be tuning in, but I'm going to be tuning into NXT, man. I got no streaming plans, so our next stream isn't until Thursday. So yeah, I'm going to start checking it out. There's a lot of fit, athletic, and it seemed like a lot of competent ladies there that weren't that sort of got overshadowed.
Yeah.
They only had 90 seconds to show us what they had. But I was glad, and all the people, like I think you were saying this, that complain, well, we didn't get this old person and this like I want to see what's happening now,
right?
So I was very pleased that they didn't bring out like there were rumors, and I'm sort of jumping over, that they were going to bring back Hogan.
No.
That they were going to bring Hogan in, or The Rock was going to come in. Or
how is Hogan going to do? The poor guy, God bless him, walks with a cane. It's going to take him 190 seconds to walk to the ring. You know what I mean? It's not going to happen.
It would have popped the crowd there. The crowd would have gone fucking ape shit if he had hit
then that. Make him a ring announcer or something like that. You know what I mean? But I was always a sucker for, hey, Victoria's here. You know what I mean? Just like, or Michelle McCool popped up. Trish Stratus. You know what I mean?
That song? That's one of the few lady songs that I know.
Right. And those were always fun, but it is also good to see that wasn't the main thing, because sometimes they focus a lot on the nostalgia, and I'm glad that we got to see as much as we could until I'm sure we'll get to it when Nia Jax had to just destroy everybody. But we got to see the future. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they knew they weren't going to be in long. Nia was going to get rid of them, or Jade was going to get rid of them.
But they're on the Royal fucking Rumble, man. I mean, that's like the biggest spot of their lives.
And they were doing everything. And there are so many memorable moments from those ladies, because I'm so happy now. Don't get me wrong. I love the TNA stuff in the 90s, you know what I mean? The Attitude Era, but I'm glad that now we're hiring women that are pretty and athletic and know what they're doing, not just Tori Wilson and Stacy Keibler that are there just for their looks.
Right, yeah, for bra and panties matches.
Exactly.
Yeah, I hear you. Yeah, I mean it was just fucking great. I'm going to start catching. So Triple H, if you're listening, you made a believer out of me. I'm going to start watching NXT this Tuesday. So you just want a viewer.
NXT was his baby, even before, like when
Shawn Michaels now is running it now, right?
Right.
But I mean, when I see the clips, it's like every week these people are doing these insane sorts of high flying kinds of things because they're young, they're uninjured, they actually have knees, and all these different things. And I've made my peace that we're never going to go back to the 90s.
Right.
I've made my peace with it. It's fine. But I mean, if you can you have to replace that with another kind of excitement.
Right.
You have to give, something else that, keeps people on the edge of their seat saying, holy shit, this kind of thing. So, yeah, I mean, it made that match alone made a believer out of me. Even though, like you said, if I knew who 10 of them were, but then also, there was the TNA editions.
Yeah, that I don't know if it was last year or a couple years ago, Mickie James came out and she was a TNA Knockouts champion. You know what I mean? I don't know. I didn't know if that was just like a one-time deal, but apparently now with what was his name? Jordan or Jace something.
Oh, Jordan Lynn.
The current Knockouts champion and Jordan Grace, I think.
Jordan
she
Grace,
came out.
yeah, that's it.
They made a big deal about it, which is cool. They mentioned TNA a little earlier because when Naomi came back after being
That
in
was
TNA
great
for a
to
while,
see too. Yeah.
they mentioned that she was a former Knockouts champion. So that kind of got me thinking. And then I think it's Jordan Grace. When she tweeted, she tweeted something like, thanks for the love. This isn't the last you'll see of TNA. So I'm hoping there'll be some cross promotion, more of it. It'll
nice,
definitely
man.
help. It'll help both companies. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
WWE, air quotes, doesn't need the help, but it will help them because their TNA has a lot of loyal fans.
Yeah.
And it'll also help with TNA getting the exposure. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? And just imagine like a Supercard. Now that we're not, I don't know if we're gonna get into it, but now that Vince is not involved,
right?
You don't know if it's gonna be all if Vince was involved and they did like a Supercard TNA versus WWE, there's no fucking way TNA would have a chance. Now you don't know.
You know what it would have been? It would have been that. I don't know if you remember this. I think it was the first NWO pay-per-view sold out.
Mm-hmm.
Where they cheated every fucking match and like every fucking NWO member won every fucking match. And you're like, this is the lamest fucking thing I've ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
And it would have been exactly like that. Every TNA wrestler would have been humiliated.
Mm-hmm.
They would have been out-talked on the mic. They would have had to have, gone through some, embarrassment and but I think that you're right, and I hope that this is the case, that it brings more exposure to TNA. Because my hope is that TKO is not looking to eat everything.
Right.
I don't want that.
Mm-mm.
It looks like OVW has grown.
Mm-hmm.
What I'm seeing from I got to get the Fight app and start watching them because I'm seeing all these people on there all of a sudden. I'm like, who the fuck is this? Like, we just watched that, 4 months ago or so, the wrestlers. And covered it, and now it's like all these different people that I'm like, oh shit, maybe it kind of blew up, which gets good.
Definitely got exposure.
They brought in Mickey James as the head of their creative, I think, or something along the on the creative team. So I want the tide to lift all ships.
Yes. And could you imagine? I mean, just imagine this. AJ Styles was TNA born and bred.
He's so good. He's so fun.
Now, could you imagine him like a bidding war between TNA and WWE to put AJ Styles, in the forefront? That would be a lot of fun. Where do your loyalties lie? We made you a star. We made you a star. We have you on a national, worldwide level. You were with us. When it was 25 people in the stands type of thing. So that would be a lot of fun. And AJ Styles, if he's given the chance, he has a great personality. He can be serious. He can be goofy and stupid as hell. You know what I mean? But he doesn't get that time to shine.
Right.
So I think that would be kind of a cool if they had like a bidding war.
He's sort of underutilized in WWE. He really is, because the spotlight, and I don't want to criticize. I don't want to go negative, because I had fun watching this last night. I did.
Me too.
But the spotlight again is surrounded by a very small group of people, and maybe that's just the way it is. It's steeple shaped, and at the top, there's only room for so many. Right. But at the same time, there are a lot of people like AJ Styles. I think fans would find refreshing to see some change.
Yeah.
Give somebody else a chance.
Right.
And that was. Well, that was part of what, let's bring it back to the women's match, part of what made the women's match so refreshing. You got to see different people. And then, of course, and I'm jumping, and I'm only going to touch on it briefly, we got to see the appearance of Jade Cargill.
Yes.
Now, before we get, and that is something that would just never have happened under old leadership.
Mm-hmm.
It would have been what happened to Taz. It would have been what happened to Booker T.
Goldberg.
Goldberg with The Rock. These sorts of things. You gotta shine shoes first, or whatever it is that the old leadership would make you do. But unfortunately, one of the things that was in there, and I guess it's unfortunate, but it's not. Nia Jax was in the Royal Rumble, and in truth, all right, what's your opinion of Nia Jax?
Okay.
like, does she have? Let me try to structure the question for you and add a little more flesh to it.
Sure.
Does she have athletic ability? Because let me give you my opinion first, and then maybe you can sort of take it from there. My opinion is this is someone who probably does have athletic ability, but I think for such a prominent role, I think she could drop a few pounds.
Mm-hmm.
She could drop a few pounds and probably do a lot more. Mm-hmm. Now, I don't know if she's limited in her physical abilities, and so all she has to do is throw, size around, almost like a Bundy kind of character, the old school big, beefy, kind of thing. All you have is just, the stiffness. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't mind seeing more, but I would like to see. I mean, I think she'd be amazing if she would just drop maybe 40, or 50 pounds or something like that. Because all it is really is just what I saw immediately, I thought was her hurting people with these throws. It was super stiff.
She's sloppy.
I still remember that ass drop she did on Rhea Ripley, where she didn't hold the ropes to hold herself, and she just brought all her weight down. It's a wonder she didn't crack Rhea Ripley's sternum.
Right.
Go ahead. What's your opinion of her?
I liked her when she first appeared, when she first made it to the roster, because we never seen a girl that size who could move and throw around people. No disrespect to Chyna, but Chyna was all muscle. Nia Jax is not. Right. The problem is once Nia got, I guess you would say, really, really popular, I think she got too popular too quick, because I don't think she had the skill set to be where she was on the roster. She definitely does not have the mic skills. Her mic skills are atrocious. Okay. And that's why they gave her Tamina Snuka, you know what I mean, to kind of help take some of the heat off of Nia. But the problem is with Nia is I don't know if it's her size or just the fact that she's not that skilled, is she is very sloppy. And the problem is, like in today's society, once you screw up, the internet will never let you forget it. Everyone will now focus on how she is sloppy, and she's legit hurt many people.
Yeah.
Many people. And the thing is,
she's too stiff.
The thing is with her too, is she knows people hate her. The thing is though, she's not bringing in like that hatred, like she should. She's just standing there, she lifts her, she does the whole, bring the heat type of movement, but you could tell that she's just there. She's not reveling in it. You can tell maybe she's uncomfortable. And to me, she's not this monster anymore. She's just a big, sloppy wrestler. But what I will say this is, she did have a purpose last night, and it was my daughter watched it because she likes to watch the women wrestle. And when Jade came out, I've never seen a single match from Jade. You know what I mean?
First time laying eyes on her.
I've never watched AEW. She comes out and she's got a look. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
She's got the dark black skin, but she's got the white hair. My daughter said she looks like Storm from the X-Men. You know what I mean? So that was kind of cool. And then she came out, and the thing about Jade, what I like is she's in such great shape, but she's not like Chyna. You know what I mean? No. She's not even, in my opinion, she's not even big like Rhea Ripley. You know what I mean? She still has a feminine look to her. But what I liked is, what was so cool, and even my daughter, lost her shit. The thing is, when you eliminate the big people, it always takes 5, 6, 7, so many people to eliminate, Andre or Bundy or Earthquake or whoever. Right. Jade did it with a single body slam.
Yeah.
And that was impressive.
And that's going to look easy.
Exactly. That is going to be that's a highlight reel for a long time, because even if we we take the whole what we've said about Nia out of context, you know what I mean? She's a big girl, and she just lifted her up like it was nothing, just dumped her over the top rope and made it look like it was Tuesday. You know what I mean?
As much as we have leveled criticism at Nia, I have to give her props because she put Jade Cargill over.
Yeah.
She put her over. I mean, that's probably, and we could have it all. I mean, I'm sure she's a fine human being.
Mm-hmm.
Don't misunderstand. What we're talking about is what we see, in terms of ability inside the ring. We're not wrestlers.
Correct.
We get it. Okay. But, our opinion is our opinion. So, everybody's got one.
Right.
But I mean, she put her over like no problem. Like, she didn't, say, well, she's going to have to, or, it didn't seem to, at least, she just let Cargill make it look easy.
Yeah. And it's like a lot of people
I
say
appreciated
with Andre.
that. I gave some respect for Nia Jax to do that, to this new girl.
She didn't make it look like Jade was struggling to get her up, because like people say with Andre or Bundy or Quake, a body slam is a 2-person move. If they wanted to make you struggle, the person getting slammed, the heavier person, would make you look like you're going to struggle. And
right.
Nia, it was like nothing.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, even the fireman's carry was like nothing.
Mm-hmm.
He just threw her right over her shoulder and then boom, dropped her down again. Mm-hmm. Get up, and then just slammed her right over the rope. And good on Nia. Good on Nia. I respect that. I respect that.
I honestly would Nia. I think
I'm sure
Nia
Nia
just
would be easier tonight knowing that I said that.
Yes, she would definitely be okay. That asshole in Jersey finally gave me some props.
Yeah, exactly. Oh Jesus, I can turn. Slept like a baby, first time in months.
I think honestly, with just a little bit of polishing, and that's all Nia needs. You know what I mean? I think she needs to prove, show people that she can be a safe wrestler, and then they'll leave her alone. You know what I mean? But
one wonders how TKO is going to. Yeah, I mean, are these the sorts of things that TKO is going to address? Now The Rock has just made it to the board of directors,
right,
of TKO, and I don't think that that's a bad pick. I don't think that that's a bad pick. He's one of the biggest superstars of all time.
Mm-hmm. He's a businessman.
Yeah, he's extraordinarily competent as a businessman.
Mm-hmm.
He's still young. He's still very young.
Mm-hmm.
And he understands the wrestling business. I mean, he's almost been something other than a wrestler longer than he's been a wrestler, it seems.
Right.
But I mean, he's definitely plugged in. And I think almost at the end of the day, despite, the fact that, age, gets to everybody, obviously he's got great love. I think it's his first love.
It always will be. It's that he was born into it,
Yeah.
From his 2 grandparents, his father.
And
then
now
again,
his daughter.
His daughter is now she's a head character in NXT.
Yeah.
And we've talked about many times how much that Samoan family tree just branches out. I was telling my wife, like,
it used to be the Canadians and the Hearts.
Yeah, and I was telling my wife, I said, you'll never get rid of the Samoan dynasty because, Solo, the Roman's lackey. I said, that's Umaga's son, so, you have that second generation. Then you have the Usos, your favorite guys, but they're Rikishi's sons, you know what I mean? And stuff like that. So it just goes on forever and ever.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's, but, I wonder, well, I mean, that's a very small question. That's a very small question. Mm-hmm. Talking about, Nia Jackson, her place in the
right.
I don't see that I don't see her getting a big push anytime soon.
No,
I don't see her getting the push. She's not a Charlotte Flair. Who if Charlotte Flair comes back, she's going right back to the top.
Right.
It's an obvious thing. Like it or don't like it.
Mm-hmm.
I think she's actually great. I think she's a great wrestler. Mm-hmm. I would like to see some changes, and I was very pleased that we did get some change by seeing Bayley win the Women's Royal Rumble. I called it. I called it.
You did
early on, at least probably 30 minutes before the match ended.
Mm-hmm.
I like Bayley. I think she's got a great character. She's got great personality. She's got this quirky sort of thing going with the the other Japanese ladies.
Mm-hmm. She's a lot of fun. Like I liked her. Like my daughter liked her when she was the hugger. You know what I mean? The family friendly, sweetheart. I think she's having more fun as the heel. You know what I mean? Because she was the baby.
She's a goofy heel.
Yeah, she's she's a bitch, but she's also just a big dork. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's kind of endearing. That makes it fun. Like I'm also if the comedy's right, I'm a sucker for those type of characters, like Dominic, our
Oh
truth.
yeah,
You know what
yeah,
I
yeah,
mean?
yeah.
You
The
know,
man,
we
the
we both
man.
share our love for those two
Yeah,
guys, but
yeah,
Bailey is finally given the chance to have a bit of a personality once they turned her heel, and now she's the leader of Damage Control. And I like her because she's a great type of heel who sends her little minions to do the work, and
yeah,
she picks up the scraps.
yeah,
You know what I mean? And
yeah.
that's a great bad guy. That's a great
And,
villain.
and you might see you see some friction there in Damage Control.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like she goes to high five and they just kind of turn their back on
Yeah.
her. You know, but
Yeah.
she's so goofy that she's okay. You know, she goes on to the next thing. Now, who do you think? Is it going to be Rhea Ripley?
I think they're going to continue. I think they're going to continue the internal strife with Damage Control. I think Bailey's going to challenge Io Sky to prove she's the best of the bunch, type of thing. You know what I mean? I think the ego is going to get the better of her. I don't know if she's going to announce it right away.
No, I think the road to WrestleMania is long, man. The road to WrestleMania is long.
I think what's going to happen is there's going to be some internal friction, and let's just say Damage Control stops listening to Bailey or something like that. So she challenges Io. Well, if I have the belt, now you're gonna do what I fucking say, type of thing. So that's what I think it's gonna be. I think she's gonna challenge Io, which will be a phenomenal match because Io is amazing.
Now, yeah, I love her. Yeah, and Kairi Sane.
Yes,
they're
I'm
both
so glad she came back.
Phenomenal athletes. Phenomenal athletes. And they got a weird, the weird Japanese sort of thing going on, that little kabuki thing, sort of, it's very theatrical, it's almost like an overacting kind of thing that probably wouldn't work with another wrestler. But then you start to think of, the great Japanese wrestlers that have always had that sort of overacting thing, like Muta. He just had that, sort of, spazzy sort of movement, or Masato Tanaka, and those sorts of guys, and Masahiro Chono.
Yep.
They all, Masahiro Chono was just a beast, man.
Yeah, he was all business, but you knew, but it's they have like I don't know if mystical is the right word, but again, it's different because I love, Kairi Sane, she should come out dressed like a pirate of all fucking things, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You wouldn't believe it in the ring because she was all business, or Asuka when she comes out with the kabuki mask, and stuff like that, or Io would come out with like an umbrella, you know what I mean? Or parasol, and it all fit, and their gimmick drew you in, but their athleticism kept you there.
Plus, they're hot.
That always helps
really
too.
Fucking hot Japanese girls, yeah. That's like, fuck, man. Kairi Sane is fucking smoking hot,
that's
man.
That's why I always say, I said, man, I wish Asuka would wash off the Juggalo paint. You know what I mean? Because when she's got no makeup on, she's gorgeous.
Yeah, because I follow them. I follow the wrestlers and a lot of them, on IG, and they're on the beach, and you see them, like just in street clothes and things. Like, wow, really fucking beautiful fucking girls.
Yes, they are.
Holy shit. So I mean, that was the satisfying match. That was for me was the best match of the evening.
They had some great spots though, great memorable spots. Like I love when Kairi was thrown over the top rope and she's like Spider-Man on the side trying to hold on, and she failed.
And her foot's like this close off the, and they're trying to hold on to her. And they had to slip and let her go.
When, I don't remember who it was. Was it Liv Morgan or someone was hanging on by Bianca Belair's ponytail?
I think it was Liv Morgan.
You know what I mean? And that was so good. memorable spots. And it was when Bianca and not Jade, Jordan Grace, when they were outside on the apron, and Bianca did that flipping suplex or whatever. That looked like it hurt. But again, these memorable moments were so good.
Bianca Belair, I'm not really a fan of hers. I can't figure out why. And we've talked about this before. I don't know exactly why. It's not because she's black, just to get that out of the way. But there's something about her. But she's a fucking brute.
She's a beast, dude.
She's another one, man. I mean, when you saw her face off with Cargill, but she was another one going in there housing people, man, and just throwing those girls.
She's another one that's scary strong and doesn't look it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. She doesn't have huge biceps or anything like that.
I think she does. Yeah, I think so. I mean, I saw her after Ripley won the day after WrestleMania, and she was
okay.
She might even have been a little bigger than Rhea, or at least taller.
Okay.
I think she is. Yeah, I mean, she's a big fucking beast, man, of a woman throwing those. So, I mean, obviously, it seems like they're setting up a future showdown between her and Jade.
I wouldn't be against that, dude.
Yeah, it would just be a fucking stiff person's fucking wet dream, man. I mean, those two just going at it. Now, maybe it's that stupid hair.
I think what it is, I think it's the gimmick. The problem is they focus more on her fucking ponytail than her skills in the ring. Because
she focuses more on her ponytail than the fucking,
I mean, because again, it's just the gimmick overshadowing the wrestler because she's good in the ring. She's really good in the ring. She's in phenomenal shape. It's just, the kids like the fucking ponytail, so we gotta do the ponytail type.
And
of thing.
It was, like last year, the thing, with her fighting Io Sky at WrestleMania, it was just there's such a size differential.
Yeah.
Or who's that? What's that the little girl from Puerto Rico?
Oh, Zelina Vega.
Zelina Vega. I mean, she's like 5'1". Amongst all these giant fucking Amazons, and it's you're like, yeah, you have no fucking chance, kid.
Right.
I mean, I think I saw her wrestle Rhea Ripley once, and Rhea just like ragdolled her.
Yeah,
for
she just
3 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, okay. You sure you want to do this? Okay. That brings us, I guess, to the next match, which was the Fatal 4-Way. I didn't fucking care.
Neither did I. I don't give a shit about LA Knight.
I put a poll in Twitter, and I said, does anyone believe that Roman Reigns is going to drop the belt? And wait, I got to find that. Because that's why I thought it was just sort of pointless. Because to me, there was just no fucking way that I believed that Roman Reigns was going to drop the belt.
Oh, I didn't think so either.
Yeah, here we go. Hold on, let me see if I can bring that up. Where are we? Hold on. Does anyone believe Roman Reigns is going to drop the belt tonight? Now I only got 12 people because it started off and then the match started, and I guess nobody's on X, participating in my poll. You bunch of fuckers that are out there watching that weren't in my poll. But 33% actually believed that was the winner. It said it's been a weird week, which it certainly has been. I mean, from Monday to Saturday, it's been a weird fucking week for WWE.
Yep.
So they're like, it's been a weird week, so it's going to happen. 16% said there's one point every minute, which is probably where I put my money.
Yeah.
25% said I wish, which I probably could have gone in that. I could have gone there too. 25% saying anything is possible. And then I should have put the top and the bottom together, with the one born every minute, sort of thing. I didn't believe it.
No,
I didn't believe it, especially in the this is the kickoff and the road to WrestleMania. Not to mention the fact that I don't like LA Knight. He doesn't do anything for me. No. I don't understand. He's got the physicality. He's not a bad wrestler. But he just
exists to me. You know what I mean? He's there.
It's a flat response when he shows up, and I'm like, oh, okay. LA Knight's there.
What do you think of LA Knight? He's fine. You know what I mean? He's all right.
I can't find anything wrong with him per se. It's just, it doesn't pop. When he hit, I suppose sort of the inverse of that would be like a Drew McIntyre. He doesn't exactly, but I'm like, oh shit, some shit's about to go down, because Drew McIntyre plays it more like a brute.
Yes.
LA Knight kind of doesn't, and maybe he should.
Right.
He should, or be more stiff or just powerhouse people, but he doesn't. And, maybe that's why I don't like him. At least McIntyre has that sense about himself, even though he constantly gets screwed over.
McIntyre's in for a fight, and he can beat the shit out of anyone placed in front of you. That's the thing. Did you see that picture of Cody? I guess when he Claymore kicked Cody Rhodes in the face.
Yeah, he kicked his tooth out.
You see the picture?
Yeah, the tooth is like up over his head. Yeah, he kicked the fucking tooth out of his mouth. Holy shit.
Yeah, LA Knight to me is like, that's how I knew Roman's not going to lose to any of these three. Randy Orton's still coming off of a fused back. There's no way they can make him the champion. LA Knight is LA Knight, and they're never going to give AJ the belt again. You know what I mean? When they with Roman as the champion. As great as Cody or whoever would win as, the challenger against AJ, the champ, that doesn't have marquee value in WWE's eyes. I don't think.
Here's the thing. I think that, and, this is just my opinion, like I said, everybody's got one. Mm-hmm. I think that, actually Cody is going to complete the story at WrestleMania.
Yes, me too.
In which case, it opens up a whole new thing. Because, unless you're a 10-year-old kid, I don't see how you're not bored to tears with this endless fucking, reign, your championship reign, from the tribal chief.
Right.
And it's not a Ric Flair pace, where he's wrestling like every night. Like Flair would, Flair would still be in there today if you let him.
Yep.
Or Hogan, Hogan was wrestling like all the time. That's why he can't walk today. He's like 4 inches shorter from having a spine fused. And I get it. You got the wellness program in there now. But then if you're going to do something like that, you can't just have somebody show up every 60 days.
I think, honestly, it's like, it's like when Brock Lesnar was world champion. He had a world title match like every 4 months. You know what I mean? It's like, I get Brock's a special attraction. I get that, but you don't put the belt on that guy. You know what I mean? Roman is not a Brock Lesnar. You know what I mean?
No, he's not.
He needs to be making these monthly title defenses, because remember back when we were fans, growing up, there's that 30-day, defense clause. You know what I mean? So you always had that world title match at every pay-per-view. And if he's not defending it at every pay-per-view, what's the fucking point? You know what I mean? I mean, and it gets. This isn't I hate to say this isn't yesteryear where Bruno was champion for fucking a dozen years or whatever, and Hogan and everyone else. 6 months is still considered a lengthy reign. 1 year is a big fucking deal. When Punk was champion for like a year and a half, that was a huge accomplishment. But now Roman's going on 2.5 years, maybe 3. It just gets real old real fast. And again, if it was like,
oh no, we're going on 4 years now.
That long,
1,240 some odd days.
It's like if he was the champion that was like getting by on the skin of his teeth, or you know what I mean, or someone you can get behind, or like those like little weasel type champions. They find a way to cheat to win. That's fine, but it's just no one gives a crap about him anymore.
And here's the thing that I think is most damaging is that there's no suspension of disbelief anymore. Like when Roman Reigns, like nobody believes ever. Or for some reason in my poll, amongst 12 people, for some reason 40% did. But like, there's no doubt in anybody's mind.
Right.
Anytime there's a title defense. So the title defenses themselves become just an exercise.
Yeah, people don't.
You might as well not even have them because he's going to win. It sort of does become like the Hogan reign.
Yeah.
It doesn't
or John
matter
Cena,
because
or like John Cena. You always knew John Cena would get away with the belt.
Yeah. So I really do think I pray. Well, maybe I won't go so far as to pray, but
right.
I really hope that Cody gets to get the belt this time. And then that opens the door for a whole new bunch of creative possibilities. Even if someone screws, who's Money in the Bank right now?
The guy from the Damian Priest.
Damian Priest, even if he, I don't think it'll happen at WrestleMania, but like the next day, he comes out with Money in the Bank, and Cody's all beat to shit, and all these sorts of things, and I want to.
Now, see, I wouldn't put it past, because it's happened before. Seth Rollins cashed in after a main event and beat Roman for the belt, and after he beat Brock or something. I wouldn't put it past WWE. Cody finally beats Roman after 4 fucking years. He's dead on the ground. He's celebrating. Here comes Damian Priest.
Yeah.
That night, he might not win. You know what I mean? It would actually be kind of cool if he cashed in and Cody still beat him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I could see, because I think WrestleMania is going to be 2 nights again. I could see that night ending with Damian cashing in.
I don't know if I told you this as a quick aside. Because it's coming to Philadelphia, so it's right down the street from me. I mean, I could take a train in an hour and go see WrestleMania. It's the cheapest ticket I found was $1,200 a night.
Oh, fuck that.
Per night.
No.
So the cheapest one, the best seat will be on my couch for free.
Yeah.
Commentary and everything else. Yeah, the best seat will be in my house. Then I am not paying $2,500 for a nosebleed seat.
No.
Nope. Especially in Philadelphia, you may not walk out alive. So
exactly,
it's Philadelphia. So yeah, I mean, the most hope I had for, let's get back to the Fatal 4-Way. The most hope I had was the off chance that AJ Styles will pull it off.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't care about LA Knight. Nope. And I'm not really that crazy about Randy Orton as a world champion either at this point. He's not someone that's like, it's like when Punk came back. It sort of got, Randy Orton's return sort of got overshadowed.
Yeah.
And I didn't, okay, he's here. Great, but
I haven't really liked Randy Orton since he was back in the days of the Legend Killer, when he was taking on Mick Foley and all them, and he was still part of Evolution. He's just another one of those guys that he's okay. Wow, he's still there. Bless his heart. You know what I mean?
Here's the thing. Randy Orton has become one of the senior guys now.
Yeah. I was telling my wife, he's been there for 20 years.
Yeah, when he was the Punk guy challenging the veterans, it was a lot easier to hit him.
He had his dad coming out with him too, Cowboy Bob. Yeah.
Yeah, he was the Punk kid challenging all the veterans, all the legends. He's fighting, Stone Cold. He's fighting The Rock. He's fighting The Undertaker. He's fighting Mick Foley. He's pissing you off at every turn. This, that, and the other. He was kind of like the Dom Mysterio of the time.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know what options they have for him. Could you put him with Gunther, like a feud? He doesn't seem to have anything to do right now. They don't seem to have any story for him right now.
Right. He's
my
just there.
Yeah, he's just there, and he's Randy Orton, and he's sort of, he's only been back a couple of months.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, they don't seem to have a direction for him right now.
Not
and it looked like he got injured in that match.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you noticed that, the shoulder.
Yeah, and the thing is, I think they're going to be very careful with him because it's back fusion surgery, man. You don't want to fuck around with that. One wrong body slam, you know what I mean? That's scary stuff when you think about it.
Yeah, and he's on enough gas to.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
He won't feel it until he won't feel until like the next morning when he can't get out of bed.
But I mean. I was hoping, AJ would pull it off, but of course, it goes the way that it goes.
Jesus Christ. I didn't mean to step in. I didn't realize how jacked AJ was since coming back. He looks like a totally different person, dude.
Yeah. Yeah, he's enormous.
Yeah.
He's enormous.
And he could still go, though. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. And, that's another thing. I don't know whether he's another person that needs something to do. It's like the WWE's bench is so full right now. They have more wrestlers than they have storylines.
Right.
And so, AJ Styles can't become a jobber. I mean, they really don't even have those anymore. So I mean, what do? Do you send him to NXT? Do you, like you said, cross promotion with TNA? Right. Send him down and then bring some TNA people up, or I would love for TKO to do something like that, and almost like the refurbished ECW.
Yeah.
Remember that when Flair started showing up on ECW?
Big Show was their champion, and
it was messy, and it wasn't the same thing.
No,
but people had like the one time the first time that Scott Hall showed up in ECW.
I remember that
fucking ape shit.
Oh yeah, he came out to the Fugees, and no one knew he
ready
was
or
there.
Not.
Yeah,
and he jobbed.
Yeah,
he put that fucking other guy, that big fat the FBI guy over.
Yeah.
The full-blooded Italian guy over. He put him over. And
Big Sal. Yep.
Yeah, Big Sal. But I mean, does that happen? Does TKO start to make it more friendly? And less adversarial, to these other sorts of promotions.
That's what I like. Don't get me wrong, I grew up Monday Night Wars. It was fun seeing them take their little pot shots. Bischoff, revealing, the taped results, and back then WWE never acknowledged the competition. I like that they're now acknowledging the competition, and it is in a more positive note. Like Triple H will take some pot shots at Tony Khan, but Tony Khan is a big dork. He fucking deserves it. You know what I mean? Right. They can make money with TNA. They really can. They with the roster, and like I said, you throw in like that AJ Styles. He was a TNA original type of thing. They can make a lot of money and help. A little friendly competition is what you need. Friendly competition is not a bad thing.
I liked when you saw the women's Royal Rumble match that the women were like embracing each other. They're like, we made it. We're here. You know, I mean, that was cool, And
then they were beating the shit out of each other.
And they started fucking punching, like anybody's business. But, that's sort of breaking the fourth wall, that small acknowledgement, that's a nice shift.
Yeah.
It's a nice shift. I think you gain something by that small reveal.
When you break character, you can bring the fans in just a little bit, because we know they're playing characters on TV, blah blah blah. But like the rare time, like say Undertaker would break character or something like that, that shows the man behind the persona. Or when you can tell how appreciative, like Naomi, when she came back, I was never a huge Naomi fan, but she was really, really, really good. You know what I mean? For what she is, I was happy to see how happy she was to be back.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's just endearing, you know what I mean? And she's got the skills. And then when she embraced, I don't know who it was, I think she embraced Jordan, because they both came from TNA, and they're like, this is a moment, let's enjoy it. And then they just boom, 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 boom. You know what I mean? It was it was really cool.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, hold on.
Sure.
I don't know. I think that, there's a lot of potential to take wrestling to places that it hasn't been before. And I certainly hope that, TKO is smart enough and open-minded enough to take full advantage of all the opportunities, and the WWE, the same sort of. At some point, I'd like to find somebody on here that watches MMA, because I'd like to do some discussions about that. Because right now UFC is sort of in the same position as WWE. It's almost like a monopoly.
Okay.
They've got just about everything. There are a couple of other, like PFL or Bellator, and these sorts of things. One fighting championship, but yeah, I mean, maybe that will also spread out for UFC. You're going to make more money.
Yeah.
More people are going to. Holy shit! Wait, you're cross promoting. With the pay-per-view with TNA. I don't know about AEW. Holy shit! You're gonna bring in some OVW people. What the hell is? People are going to tune into that, and they're going to make more money. Like, I'm going to give you my money if you're going to show me something different. You know, so I really do hope that they take advantage of that. Triple H, if you're listening, the American Werewolf, make us give, you know, we'll give you the money, man. Just give us the product. Yeah, just you know, no problem. All right, so let's go on to the next one, and that was the Logan Paul match versus Kevin Owens. I am a huge Logan Paul fan. Okay. I think he brings a different, and I've said this since I started watching again. At certain pay-per-views, he may have been the only match that I watched. Because I especially started out saying that this has just become this overproduced, you know, nightclubby kind of thing with the lights and the, you know, people are dancing, coming out, and, you know, doing all this kind of stuff.
Too much spectacle.
And, it was, you know, it felt flabby. You know, this flabby sort of thing. And I'm just like, what is this? You know, I don't like this. And I've sort of gotten used to it. And I see the reasons why, you know, we aren't doing chair shots to the head before, and, you know, all these sorts of things. But Logan Paul brings a different energy. And I think it's because he doesn't come from, well, he's only been in it like a year and a half.
Right. And he doesn't, you know, he's not there very often.
Well, and he was already established before that. You know, so it wasn't like, oh my God, I'm so grateful to be here. He's like, I'm already fucking Logan Paul. You know, I've already done this or that and A or B or C or, you know, this fight over here or this boxing match over there. And my brother, you know, he's still doing this over here, you know, this, that, and the other. So he was already sort of a, you know, one of influencer, celebrity, you know, whatever you want to call it. And he's got a real don't give a fuck attitude, I think.
Yeah, he's a perfect asshole.
Yeah, I like that. That's very retro to me. You know, because that is the wrestling that I grew up seeing. You know,
that's what's missing is like the perfect like old school asshole heel that you just want to see them get their teeth knocked down their throat. You know what I mean? This cocky prick. Like, and I'm not talking about like people like X-Pac. You know what I mean? No. You know, I'm talking about people that you just like Bradshaw, like when he was John Bradshaw Layfield, you know, the rich Texan. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You wanted to see the Undertaker choke him out every fucking night, and he got away with it. Yeah. And that's the type of heel that I think is missing. And Logan Paul is pretty damn close.
Heel like that, who was a perfect heel like that? Arn Anderson.
Oh yeah,
Arn Anderson is the world television champion. And just, you know, Arn Anderson was a tough motherfucker.
Oh yeah,
he's strong. He has the best. I thought he had the best spine buster in all of wrestling.
Yep.
You know, he was the enforcer for the Horsemen, and but for that title reign where he was the world television champion, no matter what happened, he always managed to squeak past.
What was great about Arn is he had an everyday man look. You know what I mean? He wasn't flashy like Rick. He wasn't, you know, painted up like Sting. He was like your uncle at the family dinner who you cut him off after 3 beers because he's gonna piss off grandma. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the thing is with Arn is you knew that if you pissed that man off, you were going to regret it.
Yeah.
And that's why, you know, he's like John McClane. He's receding hairline, you know, the beer belly, but he will fuck you up, and he made it believable. And you know, I would not want to mess with Arn.
No, and God, you know, all the guys that take the Anderson moniker, you know, Ole Anderson,
CW and ECW.
Yeah, CW Anderson was another one. You're like, Jesus Christ, this guy looks like, you know, I don't know, it was like he was like carved out of this big bald fucking head. You know, but he was just a nasty motherfucker, man. I mean, he's like a legend in the indie promotions now.
Still is,
yeah. He still looks like he'd fuck somebody up. Logan Paul doesn't have that, but he has the don't give a fuck thing going.
Yes.
And I like him. I think he has great athletic ability. And I think he's got a different kind of energy than this, you know, sort of dancey thing that, you know, all the like what's that fucking idiot Seth Rollins? You know, where you have to listen to, you know, his fucking sing along. You go to commercial, and then they come back and these fucking morons in the crowd are still singing that fucking song.
There are how do I say this? there are those wrestlers that you love to sing along with or talk, when they're doing their thing. But then there's people like Seth Rollins that just overdo it and they become obnoxious. You know what I mean? Like when Shinsuke Nakamura comes out and everyone's singing his theme song, they stop after a good minute. You know what I mean? And he's already beating the shit out of people. Seth Rollins is like an obnoxious frat boy to me. And that's why I did that tweet on X. He's on screen. I'm imagining you throwing the shoe at the fucking TV. I just don't like him. But what I like about Logan Paul is he comes off like this. I know I'm big on YouTube. I've done this, I've done that. You guys can't stop me. So you want him to get his ass beat, but he's not like a random fucking celebrity like Bad Bunny. Or when they would have fucking Snoop Dogg or Snooki or any of those. This guy, you can tell, puts in the work.
Look at that fucking elevation.
Yeah. So he's got the athletic skill. He can back it up. And to me, he seems like he's willing to learn and respect the business too. He's not going to be there for one match a year. You know what I mean?
Now, he comes along at a time when such a thing is possible.
Mm-hmm.
20, 30 years ago, someone like this coming along would not have been able to advance that quickly.
No.
You would have had to eat shit. The guys, Scott Steiner would be shitting in your gym bag.
Right.
And so he comes along at a time, I think the right time.
Yeah.
Where, he could just do what he does. Leave him alone. He doesn't need to kiss anybody's ass.
Right.
And he could just like put on this was better than the Fatal 4-Way.
Oh yeah. And especially against someone like Owens. Like Owens, I've loved Kevin Owens forever. He is a great asshole heel too. He kind of reminds me of Arn, just a little chubbier and younger. But he's the same type of thing. He will knock your teeth down your mouth and then insult your mom afterwards. You know what I mean? But he can back it up in the ring. So I was really excited for this fight. And like when we were texting,
match, man.
When we were texting, like I like Paul too, but man, I just wanted Owens to knock the shit out of him because you believe it. Like Owens is like me, overweight dude, shit talker, but Owens will knock you out in a fight, and that's what I like. These everyday men type of wrestlers. You don't have to be the chiseled good looks or something like that. So, and Owens, he's perfect, and they were really good. I think they had a great chemistry as opponents.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't know if you saw it, but they had supposedly they had a real fight really? A day or so before. At the training center, someone caught it on film. And I guess they were rehearsing the match and something happened and they were arguing and Owens walked away. You'll find it on X.
Okay.
And Logan Paul didn't like whatever he said walking away and he threw a fucking full water bottle at him.
Oh, really?
And all of a sudden, Owens fucking charged the ring and like 20 guys fucking ended up, like breaking it up. So I think that there was some legitimate angst going on. And I'm sure probably those things happen all the time.
Oh, yeah.
Where you're in a position where, your blood's up and you're slamming the shit out of each other.
That adrenaline takes over. Yeah.
People get aggravated and, so on and so forth. But I thought it was a great match. Really physical. If you could see this fucking overlay, I mean, he's got put through a table. Yeah. He got chopped the shit out of him.
His chest. He looked like he looked like he had gotten in a fight with Gunter.
And that was within the first 2-3 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
So this was a really, really good match.
I loved the ending. I was
just about to say that. Yeah.
Sorry. But I love the ending because again, I loved how first you think Logan's gonna win because he's got the fucking brass knucks. We don't see that anymore. That's old school, the brass knucks finish. You know what I mean? And then I love how I was freaking out because Owens has got the brass knucks. He knocks out Logan Paul, but his dumbass, he hasn't been watching William Regal matches. He didn't take it off and shove it down his shorts or something like that. I loved how for the first time ever, Jay, if you're watching, take note. The referee saw the brass knucks on Owens' hand, and I loved it. That was a good. Oh fuck! moment.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. That was a rarity.
Yeah.
That was a rarity. The referee caught somebody.
Mm-hmm.
And Logan Paul weasels. Weasels out the victory by disqualification. Disqualification is not an ending that happens very much in pro wrestling anymore.
Right.
And I was glad to see it, and I got a really good laugh.
Yeah,
it
was a great ending. Logan kept his belt. Owens got to kick the shit out of him. What people wanted to see. So both camps, I guess you would say, were winners in my opinion.
Yeah, and it was satisfying for the fans.
Oh yeah,
So I mean, I guess that brings us to the final Royal Rumble match. Give me what was your general take of the match?
Yeah, again, it was a lot of people I didn't really know. I think a lot of it had to do with the music and the camera angles and stuff like that. I was interested in the two Usos as the first two entrants, but they did nothing with it, so that was disappointing. I didn't really think it caught any steam, honestly, until Braun Breaker showed up and it destroyed everybody with that spear, or Bobby Lashley, or like the two real big guys. One of them was one of the Viking Raiders. You know what I mean? Once they finally got some meat into the match, then it was pretty nonstop. But overall, it was fine. I do think when it was just Cody and Punk at the end, that could have been a little shorter, because you could tell you could tell they were really out of breath, and it was just kind of dragged a little bit. But I was happy with how it ended. I was really happy with how it ended.
You know me, I was hoping for an upset by Dom Mysterio.
Me too.
I love the way that he was just kind of laying there in back, because I was keeping an eye on him. Like, where is he?
He's
there he
weasel.
is. He's laying there doing nothing. He's not doing anything. He's just staying out of the way. All right, that works for me. And then he'd come back and throw somebody out.
Yeah.
We also had the R-Truth moment, which I thought was hysterical.
First off, we didn't bring up the fact that he got confused and accidentally ran down during the women's Rumble match. And then he came back.
One of the girls was like, "What the hell are you doing? Get out of here!"
There's a thing on X. They shared it. I retweeted it. He's coming back and he's yelling with one of the general managers. "You told me I could do that." No, I didn't say enter the women's Royal Rumble. And then he's yelling, "What happened to your hair?" That was Nick. Nick Aldis. He's like, Mysterio, as in Dominic Mysterio. This man is a treasure. I'm glad he's back, because he adds that comedy. And what's great is he's so good with those guys. I can't think off the top of my head what their group is called that Dominic's in with Rhea and Finn.
Geez.
Anyways, we'll think about it and we'll remember in 5 minutes, because he's trying to become a member of that group, and he is just so good at just making them seem so weirded out and uncomfortable. Judgment Day. I loved when he came down and that one member of the Judgment Day that he's feuding with hadn't gotten in the ring yet, so he helps him into the ring, and then the guy gets knocked out, type of thing. And then R-Truth won't come into the ring until Dominic tags him in, type of thing.
And I love the look on Dominic's face, like, what the hell are you doing?
It's so much fun.
The thing of it is with R-Truth, and this is, I really feel this is the case, his chemistry is dependent on the chemistry of the other wrestlers that he's interacting with. So it really is a group effort. Yeah.
As long as they're not like, I'm not doing that shit. You know what I mean? Let your boundaries down a little bit. This is you're going to get over that. The Judgment Day has never been over as a group. Like Dominic and Rhea have been over for fucking months.
Right.
But Finn Balor and the other two guys, they've never been over as a group until they brought R-Truth in.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so
when,
it's good.
When
and
he reaches out for that tag, and I could see Dom's face like, what the fuck are you doing?
And then it was great. And then again,
and then he tries to clap the crowd to get the crowd to pop.
And then what happens when Damian Priest comes down? Who's the first person he eliminates? Was R-Truth. You know what I mean? Because he's just sick of his bullshit. So it works on so many levels. And R-Truth is just so charismatic.
Yeah.
He doesn't care if he's willing to look the fool for anybody. When it was like years ago when he had his imaginary friend little Jimmy,
Yeah.
or when he was coming out on President's Day and he had the George Washington wig on, he doesn't give a fuck, and everything he does is gold. The guy, you've seen that clip when he's talking about like last year's Royal Rumble. And he makes Brock Lesnar break character because he's threatened to throw Paul Heyman over the top rope.
Yeah.
And he's like, Paul Heyman, I'm not in the Royal Rumble. Brock is. Oh, well, never mind. And he just runs away type of thing, It's a lot of fun.
Conspicuous by his absence, Brock Lesnar was replaced by Bron Breakker, who I thought he did a great job.
Oh, Bron is great. Bron Breakker is amazing. And I told you he's Rick Steiner's son, so he's got the pedigree.
Yeah, and you told me that, maybe it wasn't you who told me, but the whole thing was that, Bron Breakker got thrown out by Dominic, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
But that was the plan for Brock. Somehow it was going to be Dominic Mysterio throwing out Brock Lesnar, which I would have paid any amount of money to see. That would have just been great.
You know what? I didn't think about it at first, because at first I thought it was Pat McAfee taking over Brock's spot because it was kind of awkward. And Pat claims that he didn't know that was going to happen.
That was hysterical. I got a good laugh out of that.
But before we get to Pat, the thing with Dominic possibly eliminating Brock, I could see that happening for two reasons. A, since Brock has come back and he's been like the redneck Brock, cowboy Brock.
Right.
He's been having so much fun. You can tell this is a different Brock, and I guarantee you he would have had no problem with Dominic somehow getting him over the top rope.
Right.
And if you think about it, someone like The Undertaker has been eliminated by Maven, of all people, in the Royal Rumble. Right. So I can see that happening. And that would be a fun feud. And can you imagine Dominic hiding from Brock, and then you have R-Truth being the bodyguard or something like that?
Yeah.
That would be fun.
Yeah. There's just there's so much talent happening now.
I want to see Bron Breakker versus Gunther. I think that would be a good,
somebody said that it was supposed to be Brock and Gunther for WrestleMania, and we have been talking about that for about 9 months now. That we wanted that fight.
Yeah.
And now it doesn't look like it's going to happen.
Right.
What do we got? 90 days, a little less than 90
Pretty
days,
much,
something like that.
Yeah.
So who knows? But there's the Pat McAfee thing.
Yeah.
Which I just thought was funny. I thought it was really, really funny.
Yeah.
With all the guys at the table, get in there. Come on, you're going to headline WrestleMania. You can, you can do it. This, that, and the other. And
it was Omos was in there.
Yeah. And he just looked and you saw his head just go up, and he's like, "What the fuck did I just get myself into?"
Yeah. No, thank you.
Yeah. Between because Omos's face never changed. He's like, "What the fuck are you doing here?" And then Bron Breakker was like laughing, like, "You gonna come? You gonna go?
Sure you want to do that?
What are we doing here? What are we doing here?" And he fucking eliminates himself, which was pretty funny.
And what was great is I've been really, you can tell since Vince has been removed. I'm not talking about recent stuff, from creative, a lot of the ongoing stuff. You can tell Michael Cole's having a lot more fun because he doesn't constantly have Vince yelling in his headset. Yeah. And I've had so much more respect for Michael Cole. He gets into it. You could tell it's legitimate.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I was loving how much shit Michael Cole was giving Pat when he came back. He's like, thank God, now I still have the record, for the longest announcer in the Royal Rumble type of thing. Thank you for that. So it was a lot of fun. It's nice to see a different Michael Cole finally. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think he's underappreciated. People don't realize that guy's been in there for over 20 years. You know what I mean?
He's put in his time.
Mm-hmm.
He's put in his time, and it's easy to overlook him. Mm-hmm. For a Jim Ross or a Jerry the King Lawler or Taz or somebody like that, or a Schiavone or something like that. And I love Tony Schiavone. I think Tony Schiavone is great, but Michael Cole has put in his time, and he deserves it. One of the people I miss, actually, and he's not around anymore, obviously, is Coach.
Yeah.
I thought Coach was just he, just great comedic timing.
He was so good being the fool. He was
Oh
so
yeah.
good.
Yeah. Even when he was like, wasn't he general manager for a while?
He was general manager,
SmackDown?
and he was also because he was Eric Bischoff's assistant. So whenever Eric couldn't make it, it would always go to Coach's head, and then it would just get even worse and worse for him.
Oh yeah, like the time he had King Booker on there, and then Crime Time pickpocketed King Booker.
Yeah. Or there was that one time when Bischoff wasn't there, and somehow Coach got like thrown through the wall. And it's just his legs sticking out of the wall, and Triple H and Shawn Michaels there doing the DX reunion, and they pantsed him, so he's still wearing like a G-string or whatever. But then they spray like D next to him, and they put an X like over his ass and his legs and stuff like that. You wouldn't see too many announcers. Mean Gene ain't gonna fucking do that.
No,
you know what I mean?
No.
Or even
Zbyszko wasn't doing that. He ain't doing that
Yeah.
with Zbyszko.
Oh God, no. But yeah, I miss Coach too. But sadly, he says he's never gonna come back, type of thing. There's like a burned bridge there.
Yeah. There's also musical chairs. When he got sprayed by Tajiri.
Yes.
Yeah, and he's holding onto the ropes, thinking he's gonna get a chair, and just
he was so good.
Michael Cole, definitely putting in his time. Again.
Can you look at my combo because this is the charger, the only charger that works?
Yeah.
Sorry.
That's fine, hon. All right, I'll see you in the morning. Daughter, going to bed.
All right. Do you need to step off for a second?
Oh no, we're good. We're good.
All right. I'm trying. When Dominic got eliminated.
Did your balloon kind of deflate a little bit?
Yeah, it did. It honestly did, because I'm like, it's the same old. I knew Drew McIntyre wasn't going to win.
Right.
And who was the fourth?
It was Gunter, Drew, Cody, and Punk.
Yeah. So I mean, I figured
I knew it wasn't going to
be between Cody.
I knew it wasn't going to be. I knew it wasn't going to be Gunter.
Yeah, and I figured it was. My hope against it was like the hope for Bayley. I was like, well, maybe if Bayley can do it, then Dominic can do it, and they can really throw a ringer at us, today.
Mm-hmm.
But once it got down to Punk and Cody, I just kind of
you knew who it was going to be.
Yeah, well, no, I didn't. Because the way I figured it was, and I think we talked about this last night. If Punk won, then he's going to call out Rollins, in which case Cody still has a shot at Roman. And then if Cody wins, he's going to call out Reigns, in which case Punk still has a shot at Rollins.
Right.
So, I mean, I don't know what this means. I mean, does this mean that, because now, I mean, Bayley and Cody have champions to pick. What champions are they going? And we think it's going to be for Bayley, Io Sky.
That's what I think, yeah.
And I think it's going to be Roman Reigns for Cody.
Yep.
But that leaves, storylines for, the other champions. And,
I still see, Seth is definitely going against Punk, whatever night it is, because you got to give Seth Rollins something to do. He's hurt, but he'll be fine by Mania. And again, for the smart internet fans that know that they hate each other, I think Seth hates Punk more than vice versa. That's going to bring in money. You know what I mean? Even if there was no title on the line, that would bring in money. I'm just wondering what they're going to do with Rhea. I have no idea what they would do with her for an opponent. Unless for some reason they throw her against Jade or maybe have an inter-promotional match. I don't know anyone right now who could take her on.
They don't have anything. She hasn't had a feud. Has she had a feud this entire time? She just seems to be sort of decimating whoever they put in front of her.
That is. There is no feud. What they need to do is they need to have someone come in and try to steal Dominic away. And then Dominic's fallen for it. Dominic's fallen for it. You know what I mean?
See, you need to be on creative.
That's what they need to do. So now, and then they'll have like things with like Dominic like behind her, like looking at the other woman, waving or something like that. And then he gets caught because he can make that scared face perfectly. That
oh yeah.
So she catches him, type of thing. So that'll give some reasons for why Rhea wants to beat the shit out. And again, she could beat the shit out. I don't know. I mean, a lot of people are saying Liv Morgan because Liv was the one that was injured.
So tiny.
Yeah, there's no one. I mean, or
do you want to see her go with Nia Jax?
No, God, no. I love Rhea. I don't want her hurt. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know. And
I don't think
you want it to be a good opponent. And Charlotte Flair's gone.
You want the opponent to be able to shine, but you don't want them to overshadow Rhea. And Rhea's gimmick is her strength. Right. She's not going to be able to toss Nia around. And it's not like Hogan versus Andre, you know what I mean? Where Andre could move, for lack of a better term. Problem is with Nia Jax is, again, she doesn't have the skill to be able to have a good match.
We've got we just got Jade Cargill. We just got Bianca. I mean, it could be Bianca.
I think they're building up for Bianca versus Jade.
It looked that way. I
think that's what they're going to do.
They had that face off. The fan, if they were testing the waters, the fans loved it.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, Mommy needs a match.
Yeah. So what they need to do is they need to get someone who could match her for talent, but is also hot as hell. So they need to have someone getting into her head.
What about the man?
Becky Lynch. I don't know.
Not for WrestleMania.
Not for Mania. She's done it too much. It's got to be someone new. And like I said, you can't defeat Rhea with her, by strength. So that's why you got to get in.
Was it Chelsea Green?
Oh, I love her.
Yeah, so do I.
She's fun as hell as like this Karen character.
Yeah.
So what you need to do is like she would be perfect because she's annoying. She's gorgeous. She's gorgeous as hell. You could see her trying to steal a woman's man. So she knows I can't do anything with Rhea.
She's a home wrecker.
I can't do anything with her physically. I can get into her head, steal her man, and then what's happened? Let's just say Chelsea wins. Dominic comes in, he's jumping, he hugs her, she doesn't give a shit, she pushes him away, flicks her hair, and walks away with the title, and then Dominic's stuck with a pissed off Rhea. And then just imagine that. Let's just say
that would Dominic, that's a great feud. That's a great feud. Dominic versus Rhea.
But not yet. There's trouble in paradise because then you bring in R-Truth, who's trying to be the mediator between the two.
The love coach.
Exactly. So that would be fun. That's just me, off the top of my head, but I think that'd be a lot of fun. You gotta steal the belt away from Rhea. You know what I mean? You gotta trick her.
It's possible. Hey, Triple H, if you're listening, the answers are right here.
Give me a job.
Yeah, we need gigs. We need gigs, man. That's all we need. We need some gigs. I'll work for TKO, no problem. Yeah, I mean, it looks like Cody's gonna go for it. I have no problem. I like Cody.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I really felt he got cheated last WrestleMania.
Mm-hmm.
But I felt like the fans got cheated. I felt like everybody got cheated.
Yeah.
For another generic Roman Reigns victory that nobody really seemed to appreciate.
No one cares anymore because that's the.
Well, I mean, like you can look at it from the fan level, but then you can take like the drone level.
Mm-hmm.
And like look at the big picture. And say, well, for the business, this is, this and that.
Mm-hmm.
And, like I was saying about Arn Anderson and the television champion, you always want to be chasing, but like, even those people last year were like, what the fuck, man? Like how long is this going to go on?
Right.
Like Arn Anderson would keep the belt for like a year.
Right.
Or something like that. And that was a long time because, every Saturday, he'd be out fighting.
Yep.
But this guy, he barely shows up and, you're like, really? We're going to go into the third year of this?
It kind of it demeans his character a little bit because he's not doing it so much. It kind of makes him seem weak. You know what I mean? He's not out there doing it day in and day out. He shows up once every 2 or 3 months, and he gets lucky.
It seems like his performances seem lackluster.
Yeah, he seems like he doesn't really give a shit.
No, he was 1 of 4, and it just seemed like a lot of the times he just like. And I get maybe he's playing the coy champion, but like it seemed like he was hanging back most of the time.
Yeah, he was letting the other guys do the most of the work.
Yeah, and you're just like when is this going to end? So even the people that usually work at the level of 4D chess last year were like, what the fuck? So I don't know what the thinking is here.
And the thing is, that works with a Dominic Mysterio hiding in the back, being that little weasel, or a Logan
He's the
Paul.
man you love to hate.
Right, but not Roman Reigns. This is not.
No, he's just boring.
Yeah.
It's just boring. It's uninteresting. It feels shallow at this point.
He's lucky he's got Heyman to keep him somewhat entertaining, but I think Heyman's kind of losing it a little bit. You know what I mean? His promos aren't as impressive as they were with when he was with Brock Lesnar. You know what I mean?
No one could continue the same storyline for 4 years.
Right.
If you're at 1,245 days, you're into the 4th year now.
Mm-hmm.
As I've said many times when we talk about the movies, the natural conclusion to a storyline ends back here, like 40 years ago. Yep. Everything you've done after this is, nonsense to some degree. But I don't know. So I hope that this ends. I hope, because there were rumors that The Rock was going to get in.
He's been making little quips too, because after he got hired by TKO and he's now got legal rights to the Rock name, he was making little quips now I'm at the head of the table. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think he was just making quips though, and I think the chairman, someone who literally is on the board of directors, isn't going to get involved.
Okay.
I don't see that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that,
I don't think a lot of fans want it either.
No, and I think that this leadership is actually trying to listen to the fans' response.
Mm-hmm.
It's not, I'm giving you what I think that you want or what I know you need. It's, there actually seems to be listening. It's not fan control, thank God, because that would be a fucking disaster.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't see him coming back. I think he's elevated in his position now, and he's going to be still making movies and whatever else he's doing.
And he'll be a fantastic ambassador though for the WWE. Oh yeah.
Yeah, come in and cut some promos every now and again. The board of the chairman of the board, or the board of directors is here. And he'll insult some punk. This, that, and the other.
Mm-hmm.
But it's the same as Triple H.
Right.
He's behind the camera now.
Mm-hmm.
He's behind the camera now. So I hope that maintains, and I hope that this thing with fucking Reigns just ends.
Yeah.
Because creatively it's just dead.
I think it will. I think at Mania, Cody's finally going to get his belt. Or honestly, it's been a waste. It's been a big waste of Cody.
Yeah, his whole storyline is just pointless.
I can understand, as much as it sucked that he didn't win last year. If he doesn't win this year, what's the point of this whole finish the storyline? It would have been a waste. Right. And then what's left for Cody to do? Right. Nothing.
Right.
So,
yeah,
fingers are crossed.
Well, what's next? Some elimination chambers?
I think next is the elimination chamber, because that's usually
You're in Australia.
Yeah, because Rhea Ripley's very excited because that's her home country. But usually the elimination chamber is the pay-per-view before the WrestleMania.
Okay.
Elimination chambers are usually good matches too.
Yeah. So I'll be here on Tuesday watching NXT. So I'm looking forward to that. And if you have Peacock, there it is. If you're if you're not doing anything, so yeah. I want to keep this about the Royal Rumble. I don't want to get into any of the other crap.
No. What do you think? We're not going to get into the bad stuff. Where do you think the Netflix deal is going to do? I think it's a great idea.
I can't wait. I can't wait. I think it's fantastic. It's unclear what's going to happen with SmackDown. It's unclear what's going to happen with NXT. Well, USA is owned by NBC Universal, so that's the same as Peacock.
Yeah, I don't see
so
that.
I
changing.
don't know what that means. Well, I mean, does it just Raw that goes over there, and the other programs stay with?
We still got a whole year. It doesn't go until January 2025, but it seems like it's just Raw moving to Netflix.
Monday Night NASCAR has already gone to Netflix.
Oh, has it? I have no idea.
I think so. I don't watch NASCAR, so that's not my thing. But I mean, I think that's already gone to Netflix. So I mean, Netflix is going to get into the live streaming business.
Mm-hmm.
That's very different.
Yeah, it's going to be very weird having. I mean, cable's gone. Cable's dead. You know what I mean? But it's going to be.
I feel bad for my dad because he's always looking for something to watch, and I'm like, Dad, I don't know what to tell you, man. I bought you like this many movies.
Mm-hmm.
And
he's giving you half of them.
He's giving half of them back.
But it's going to be really weird not having, because I haven't had cable for a handful of years, but it's going to be really weird. Monday Night Raw not being on cable television. It's going to be really weird if you think about it. You know what I mean?
It's a brave new world, man. It's a brave new world. And I mean, we're already seeing, NFL go over to Amazon Thursday Night Football. The playoff games going over to Peacock. I know Bill was grumbling about that. It's $5. I'm like, it's $5 fucking dollars. He's like, it's $5 more. I'm like, well, don't fucking watch it then. Jesus Christ.
But the funny thing is,
just relax. All right?
The funny thing is, Bill's complaining about that, but he rented the Devil's Rejects because he didn't want to get off his couch.
Lazy fuck, get off the couch. Pick the fucking DVD up. Lazy fuck. Jesus Christ. That almost happened to me. What was I was going to rent something the other day, and it was X-Men 2. I was like, I've just got the Blu-ray in this room, and the TV's in the other room. I could just rent it. No, I didn't watch it. I ended up watching something else, and then today I came over and grabbed it, and I was watching a little bit of it here because Disney has X-Men and it has X3, but it doesn't have X2.
Really? That's interesting. X2 is the best of the trilogy.
Yeah, I think so. So, but it's not on there. But I mean, I think that it's a huge power move. They're moving into the future. I mean, look at what WWE. They're in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah,
women are wrestling in Saudi Arabia.
And we were talking the last Saudi show. You and I were watching at the same time, and I told you the first one they were going to have women, and then they nixed that. And then the second time they had to have them all covered up.
Yeah,
but that's
they had to wear like full leather outfits. Yeah.
But that's still a big fucking deal.
Oh yeah, UFC is coming to Saudi.
Really?
They don't have a fight card yet, but yeah, that's TKO. They're going to be coming to Saudi, and they've already been to like UAE. They've been to Abu Dhabi, Fight Island, and these sorts of things. But I mean, Saudi Arabia just opened a liquor store for the first time in 72 years.
And you were talking, what was it, like a handful of months ago? You were talking about how when you were overseas, had a hard time getting liquor, in the Middle East and stuff like that. And it's a big deal.
Yeah, it is. It's not. Where was I? I was in Maldives. Which is like a bunch of islands. You had to go to certain islands that had like a hotel that had a bar. So it wasn't like a packaged goods store or anything like that. The Middle East is a pain in the ass. I'm certainly over it. Unless I'm in Israel, in which case you can do whatever the fuck you want because it's just a big fucking party there. But yeah, I mean, these big. It's bigger than I think even Vince could have. Yeah. Imagined.
I don't honestly.
At the time of Attitude or the Monday Night Wars, I mean, this has gone into global.
Yeah. Yeah, it's bigger than he ever expected. I don't think he ever expected when WrestleMania 3 happened, we'd be in Saudi Arabia 35 years later type of thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
But, one thing I will say about Vince in a positive light, I will say this. the dude's a self-made man, and more power to him. You know what I mean? He put his, he put his house on mortgage or something like that for WrestleMania, and it could have fucking flopped. And he's a billionaire for a reason. Like he went
multi-billionaire.
He grew up with no indoor plumbing. He was that type of kid, and now look at him. So God bless him in that respect.
Well, as the saying goes, who dares wins. So, he just went out there and fucking did it. Yep. Yeah, I mean, I don't think wrestling's ever been bigger. I don't think wrestling's ever been bigger. So it's a great time. And, I hope it continues to move forward. I'm enjoying, watching it again. After, there's an adjustment period. There's an adjustment period to, wait a minute, this isn't Sabu. Hold on a second, this sort of thing. But yeah, I mean, I'm enjoying watching wrestling again, and I'm glad for it. So.
Yeah, me too. It's like I said, it's there was that lull, and then of course, when COVID hit and you couldn't have any crowds, that definitely took a toll, because like I said earlier, when the crowd's dead, it does affect the home viewing. You know what I mean?
But that was a turning point for me in sports, because those were the only two that didn't shut down. UFC and WWE. They just kept going.
Yep. Yeah. And a lot of these indie federations, they suffered, but I know you're not a fan of like the deathmatch stuff. That was the only genre of independent wrestling that was still going, because you can have that stuff outside, or the way they had it like in certain areas and stuff like that. So COVID fucked a lot of people over, but it's good to see the full arenas again. You know what I mean? And I'm glad it's finally on this upswing. Tony Khan's a dumb shit. If he can actually be a good promoter when taking pot shots at the opposing company, then it would be a fun rivalry. I'm excited to see where this TNA WWE alliance is going. You know what I mean? Who knows if it's going to happen tomorrow? Who knows if it's going to happen in 6 months? But I'm going to make a prediction. There's going to be a TNA wrestler at Mania. All right, there has to be, I think.
Okay.
I think that's what's going to happen.
And I'm going to get the Fight app, FITE, because apparently that's how you watch OVW. And I think it's a free app. So
I don't know, but I know there's a lot of wrestling federations on Fight as well.
Okay, I'm going to check it out, because I want to see what Al Snow's doing. I like I said, I want the rising tide to lift all ships. So yeah,
with Mickie James involved too, that'll definitely help.
Yeah, can't hurt. All right, I think we can safely bring this to a close. My thanks to Eric from Hey Internet Eric here. We will be back on Thursday with the 3-year anniversary show. Our top 5 favorite villains. I've got a great list. I can't wait to talk about it. I've got a list so far from Bill. And then I've got a list from Ryan so far. And I've got a list. No, I don't have a list from Julia. She told me what they are. I'm like, well, you have to order them, Julia. Oh, really? Yeah. You have to
you'll have my list by, you said the cutoff day was Tuesday. You'll have my list by then. No problem.
Please. So I can have a for everybody when they.
I'll go work on it after we're done streaming. If I don't text it to you tonight, you'll get it tomorrow morning.
No worries. All right. That's it for us over here. I will continue to cover the Vince McMahon allegations and controversy, what's going on right now. As you know, he did resign amid those allegations. He's still a big shareholder in the company, but I think it was the right move for business. And it's not fair to the people that are not involved in this to have to be tied to it. So he did the right thing by stepping away, and we'll see where that progresses from there. But I will be covering that as new information comes up. But past that, we will see you all in the next video. All right. Take care, everybody. Have a good one.
Cheers.